You've probably heard the term before, franchising, and I'm sure you've heard of people starting a franchise. But I think it's good that we drill down and really think about, well, what does that mean for someone to have a franchise, or what is actually going on there? So let's say that you decide you want to start a sandwich shop, and you decide to call this sandwich shop Mickey's. Mickey's Sandwich Shop. And Mickey's is just becomes very, very popular. It's doing wonderful. Just as many people say, oh, I love Mickey's, and you actually end up starting a few Mickey's. So there's multiple Mickey's. But then somebody says, you know what? I like Mickey so much, I want to start my own Mickey's. So, assuming you say, hey, that's a good idea, what you've got now is you've got a franchisee, or a potential franchisee, I should say, depending on. So you've got someone who wants to start. What are they doing here? They want the rights to your brand. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about somebody saying, I will offer you money for the rights to your brand. And you think, well, what are we talking about? A brand. Well, when you built Mickey's, you built a brand. As this became popular, you have your brand increasing in value. And what is the brand? Well, when people hear the name Mickey's, they might think quality. They might think good food. They like Mickey's. And so somebody else, some franchisee, if they want to start a restaurant, now they say, well, I don't want to have to build a brand. That's a lot of work. You've already built a good brand, and I just want to use that. And so they will pay you money for the rights to use your brand. So this is an actual, you should bear in mind here, we're talking about an actual contractual relationship that takes place between these two parties, so that the franchisee gets the right to use that brand. So let's think about this for a moment. So there are a couple different ways that we can go about kind of giving out the rights to your brand here. And so let's think about the ways we can do that. Well, one is called kind of the business format type of franchising. And well, what do we mean by business format? Well, where actually your Mickey's is going to give the right to the entire business model. The right to the entire business model. So everything in terms of how much meat you use in the sandwiches, how much veggies you use in the sandwich, all these things, the entire business model, you're going to give them the right to use that, the entire thing. And in addition to that, there might be some consulting going on. It might be that you're actually explaining to them how to do it. Maybe you even bring somebody out to train them in your business model. So you're basically trying to help them create the same experience that people have at Mickey's. You want to have that same experience for the franchisee. You want them to have that. They want to have that same thing from the processes, everything. And that's kind of advantageous also for Mickey's, because what happens if you give your rights to your brand to this franchisee, and then the franchisee does a poor job? Now your brand might suffer as a result of what this person did. So it's kind of advantageous in a way to make sure that you kind of instill the business model that's been successful and make sure that they use that. But also, you don't have to kind of license or sell the rights to your entire business model. What you can do instead is you can kind of do this product franchising, or sometimes known as sales franchising, where basically you're selling them the right to the brand, but you're selling them the right to actually just market your product. So the right to market the product. So that's, that happens sometimes when we think of like a restaurant or something like that, which are very often franchised. I think of fast food and so forth. It's typically the entire business model that is being given to this franchisee. They're being supervised as they do this business model. And so now let's think about this. What's in it for Mickey's and what's in it for this franchisee? So they're each getting something, but they're each giving up something. So let's think about some of the benefits here. So how does the franchisor, that's Mickey's, how does Mickey's benefit from all this? Well, Mickey's is going to benefit in a couple of ways. Mickey's could charge some kind of fee, some kind of initial fee, a franchising fee, and might say, okay, let's say give me $25,000 up front, something like that. And then in addition to that, there's something called royalty payments. So royalty, it could take many forms, but one thing is you could say, okay, I want a percentage of the franchisee's sales. Maybe you say you want 5% of their sales forever. So then you're making money, even though this franchisee, they have their own. I mean, this is its own business, right? So this is a separate business. I mean, they're using the brand and everything, but they have their own income statement, their own profit loss. The owner of the franchise makes his or her own profit, which isn't necessarily connected to Mickey's. I mean, there'll be a percentage of it. So what we've got going here is that they can have a percentage of the sales or percentage of profit or something like that. It's an initial fee. So basically, the Mickey's is getting money for doing really nothing other than giving out their brand and maybe some training. They're just getting money for that. So now, how does the franchisee, the person who wants to buy, well, if they have to give up some money, well, what is it that they're getting in return? Well, we already talked about kind of the brand. They don't have to build a brand. They don't have to spend money on marketing necessarily. They don't have to do any of those things because that's already been done. They already have a proven brand. But they also get some know-how, assuming that they license the entire business format. They get some know-how. They get some expertise. They can kind of learn from Mickey's and see, well, what works, what doesn't, where should I source my materials from, where should I buy pickles from, and they also benefit that from any kind of marketing or advertising that Mickey's does. So if Mickey's, so now it's all one brand. So even though the franchisee is a separate company, whenever any kind of marketing is done, the marketing is done for Mickey's. And now they're sharing the brand. So now that value goes to the franchisee as well. So any kind of marketing done by corporate headquarters, each franchisee benefits from that. But it's important to remember that in spite of this, one key point is that the franchisee is not a subsidiary. They're not owned by Mickey. So you've got Mickey's and you've got the franchisee. They're two separate things. They share a brand. They have a contractual agreement where maybe Mickey's is benefiting from some of the franchisee's sales and so forth, and the franchisee is paying Mickey's for the right to use the brand and so forth. But the franchisee has his or her own profit or loss. So if the franchisee makes $50,000 in a year, now there might be a percentage that goes out to Mickey's, but Mickey's doesn't get that $50,000. That belongs to the franchisee. So the franchisee owns his or her own business. They're just using kind of this established brand in order to do it.